Just over a year ago, I made a decision that surprised nearly everyone I knew. I walked away from a 30-year consulting career, packed up my life, and moved to Las Vegas. And it wasn't for the reason people usually move to Vegas. It was because something much bigger was starting. And if you followed this channel before, you probably noticed something else. I disappeared for a while. That wasn't an accident. There was a lot happening in my life. And to explain all of that, I'll have to go back a few years. I spent 30 years in corporate America, built and led large teams, and eventually became a partner at a firm where we were using technology and data to solve complex problems. I hired and worked with hundreds of people over that time, and I was very successful in exactly the kind of career people aim for. From the outside, it looked like everything was working, and for a long time, it was. It really was. But underneath that, something was starting to shift. A few years before all of this, something happened that changed the way I look at everything. My mentor, my boss, and one of my closest friends, Bill, passed away. We worked together every day. No matter what building we were in, we often found a way to share an office. We built teams together. Not long before he died, Bill told me something that has stuck with me ever since. He said, "Bob, I'm tired. I've been working since I was 16. I just can't wait to retire. I just want to have time to do what I actually enjoy." Bill had just become a grandfather. He loved rebuilding classic cars. He was writing books and just starting to get them out into the world. Nothing in his life looked broken. He was successful, respected, and established. He was just waiting. Just like the rest of us, Bill thought he had time. And I realized on that Monday, when his chair was empty, I thought I had time too. That was the first time I questioned the path I was on. After that, things started to change. Not all at once, not dramatically. I just started making different decisions. My wife and I had talked about going to Japan for years. It was just always something we'd do someday. But after Bill passed, we stopped saying someday. We went. I started saying yes to things that I would have postponed before, trying things that felt unfamiliar, stepping into a different version of my life. To anyone else, it probably looked like travel or just new experiences. But internally, something was shifting. I wasn't trying to change my life. I was just starting to listen to something that I had ignored for a long time. I didn't have language for it yet, but I just knew I couldn't go on living the same way. And for a while, I thought I had it figured out. My career was still growing. Opportunities were increasing. From the outside, my life looked full. I was busy. I was productive. I was doing all of the things that are supposed to mean you're on the right path. But there were moments, quiet ones, where something just didn't feel right. Nothing was broken. Nothing had failed. There was just this subtle sense that the life I had built no longer felt like mine. And I just knew I couldn't go on ignoring it anymore. And once you see that, it's hard to go back to pretending you don't. I couldn't go on operating the same way, knowing something wasn't aligned. So I made a decision. It wasn't fast, but it was clear. I decided to step away from the firm. After 30 years, I walked away from the career I had built and the team. And soon after it was all over, my wife said something simple. What if we moved to Las Vegas? And as soon as she said it, I just knew it felt right. It wasn't logical. It wasn't planned. Just clear. It didn't feel like a risk. It felt like alignment. And that decision led us here. Now, Las Vegas isn't the first place people expect you to go when you make a decision like that. Most people hear Vegas and they think of the Strip. But that's not what this is. Las Vegas is a city built by people who just decided to take their shot, to try something different, to reinvent themselves. And when I got here, I could feel it. There's an energy to this place. There's a willingness to try something new without waiting for permission. And that energy matched perfectly for where I was in my life. I wasn't looking for comfort. I was just looking for a place to create. And being here, without all the noise I was used to, I started to see something more clearly. Over the last year, something started to come together. I started noticing something. I could have clarity. I could have intention. I could even have those moments that felt like they changed everything, and still drift. And I just couldn't ignore it anymore. So I started working on something. Not for content, not for a channel, but for myself. Something that could keep me honest about my reality, and whether I was becoming the person I said I wanted to be. I didn't fully understand it at the time, but it's become a big part of what I'm building now. And that's what this chapter is all about. Honestly, part of this, shooting this video, is just me getting back into it. It's been a long time since I sat down and pressed record like this. I've experienced a lot over the last few years that I never really shared. So over the next few videos, I'm going to go back and unpack some of that. The moments that changed me, the decisions that led here, and the things I didn't fully understand at the time. Not perfectly, just honestly. I stepped away for a bit, and I think I needed that. But it's time to start sharing again, to start creating again. And this felt like the right place to start. There's a bigger picture behind all of this, but I'll get to that. Moving to Las Vegas wasn't about leaving something behind. It was about finally paying attention to something I had ignored for a long time. And if I'm being honest, I probably should have started this a long time ago. But here's where it starts. Not perfectly, not fully figured out, just started. And I'm glad I hit record.